And we should be live. Hello everyone and welcome back to the season finale of the GT7 mini-season here in this Europe versus Asian Championship. We're here at a neutral ground of Watkins, Glen for the season finale, round 5 here in America. We've got about 7 cars on the grid, I think, including myself, taking on the final challenge in this mini-season. For those who haven't been aware of what's been going on for the past 2 weeks, then we've had 4 races, 2 in Europe and 2 in Japan, 1 in the wets and 1 in the dry for each race. This is to determine which continent makes the best cars. Is it Team Europe or Team Asia? Going into this race, it is Team Asia that have the upper hand. They are leading in the Continental Championship, and Tobster takes the lead in the Drivers' Championship with his title rival Cameron Kaboom starting this race in 3rd place, I believe, from the start. This race was streamed on Friday last week, and I'm only streaming it now because this is the only free time I've had, and I did put myself on the grid, so I couldn't really stream it. But we have the race replay, which we can do, and I've also put broadcast mode on, which I didn't see before, which means we can have the background game music on, but it only plays the non-copyrighted songs, which is perfect. We can have a little bit of music in the background whilst the race goes on. We've got 40 minutes of action here at Watkins Glen, so without further ado, let's get into the start of this race. Let's get all this stuff up on the screen as quickly as possible. Here we go. We've got 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Watkins Glen. And it's lights out, and away we go. Bon Evil on pole position, X-Natty myself in 2nd place. I'll refer to myself in the 3rd person, but what a start from Cameron Kaboom, who takes the lead of the race ahead of Bon Evil in the BMW, going in towards turn 1, the Genesis trying to hold it round the outside. Meanwhile, Tobster getting past Natty on the outside with Piero, Wolfie and Ted rounding out the back of the grid as Ted runs almost a little bit wide into the barrier, and with the updated damage model, even the slightest scrape against the wall can cause damage to the bumper and suspension in these Group 3 cars. But it is the BMW who leads the field away for Team Europe, trying to claw some points back in the championship. Bon Evil now going down the inside of Cameron, who's gone wide through the bus stop chicane. That's going to allow Tobster to try and go around the outside. They're 3 wide with the BMW, the Nissan, the other BMW of myself is Pierre in the Genesis, who will be trying to pick up the pieces of this battle, but he's got a Subaru of Wolfie on the inside, and that's Cameron Kaboom off into the wall. And does he have damage? Yes, he does. Rear bumper and rear right suspension damage, and could that be not only his Drivers' Championship hopes, but also his Continental Championship blown out the window, with X-Natty myself up in 3rd place. I know it's going to sound weird, but I'm going to refer to myself in the 3rd person, just so it's a little bit more easier for the stream. You'll probably get used to it as the stream goes on, as Wolfie runs a little bit wide through the downhill right-hander. I have no idea what the corner number is, but it will come to me throughout the race as Cameron's damage has been repaired. We've got damage on lights for this mini-season to keep the racing as close and competitive as possible. So after lap 1, it is Bon Evil who leads the field away with a comfortable margin of about 1.5 seconds ahead of Tobster. X-Natty in 3rd place ahead of Wolfie in 4th, Pierre in 5th, Ted in 6th for the 5/10 penalty, which he will slow down for at the penalty gate, and Cameron Kaboom in a championship fight at the back of the grid. But a really good start from Bon Evil. Took pole position, was a little bit slow off the line in the Genesis compared to the BMW, but has managed to pick himself up into the lead of the race, and it's a comfortable advantage of quite a few car lengths. Meanwhile, here goes Wolfie on Natty to the inside here at the bus stop chicane, late on the brakes, and that promotes Wolfie up into 3rd place as the BMW gets a little bit sideways through the exit of the bus stop. That allows Piero to get through up into 4th place and drops down into 5th. Ted in 6th place will be trying to pick up the pieces of a mistake at the bus stop chicane under pressure from Wolfie. He sees a gap on the inside. Does he go for it? He's going for it as much as he can. He almost makes contact with the BMW. 2 different models of a BMW fighting for 5th place, but it's about to die down in the dust as a 1 second penalty will now be served. Ted pulls over off the racing line to slow down for a second before speeding up again, and he might lose a position. In fact, he does lose the position to the other BMW Z4, as you can see above the car. The top three, Bon Evil, Tobster and Wolfie, in the current podium positions after 3 minutes of racing. Wolfie on the soft compound tyre, everyone else on the medium. We've got 14 minutes of racing here at Watkins Glen. You can see the stopwatch essentially in the bottom left. We've had 3 minutes and 33 seconds worth of racing, and so far Ted rounds out the back of the grid in the hunt for Cameron Kaboom in 6th. X-Natter trying to close down the gap to Piero, who's just ahead in the pink and black Hyundai. He'll be looking to have a good performance in his first race of this particular mini-season. Having said that, I immediately pick up a 5/10 penalty. It's quite easy to do, running wide at turn 1. Having said that, all four wheels over the curb, and that will cause a time penalty. I do hope my mic is actually working, because I haven't done the usual check that I'd usually do in qualifying. So if it's not working, hello everyone, welcome back to the mini-season. We'll do the intro once again, so just bear with me as I check to see if it's working. And it is working. That was a nice quick check, you'd love to see it. Piero in 4th place, trying to hunt down Wolfie for the podium positions as Tobster tries to get ahead of Bon Evil to claim his first mini-season championship. And well, we've got two champions on the track at the minute. Myself and Bon Evil winning the European mini-season championship, myself winning the Japanese mini-season championship, and can Tobster or Cameron Kaboom, the two championship contenders, get the Japanese versus Europe mini-season, as Cameron Kaboom makes his way up into 5th place after a mistake from myself in the BMW, jumps down to 6th place. And it's interesting to note the tyre wear. Comparing the mediums to the softs, you can see Wolfie's soft tyres are quite a lot more worn than everyone's mediums, although to be fair, look at that, everyone's medium tyres are pretty much exactly the same. Not an ounce different. Maybe Ted has slightly better tyre wear than the rest of the field. The closest gap is probably this gap for 2nd place between Wolfie and Tobster in the battle for 2nd place, which I just said for some reason, said it twice. Here goes the Subaru to the outside, the inside for the bus stop chicane, late on the brakes, and the green and red Subaru gets ahead of the CrowdStrike Nissan. A car that we've seen last season on GT Sport is now demoted to 3rd place with a 5/10 penalty, but that Subaru is still on fairly fresh soft compound tyres, and a little nudge from Tobster that gives Wolfie a little bit of rear bumper damage. Tobster getting front bumper damage in the process also has a 5/10 penalty. So to be honest, that's not the worst time to get bumper damage, because he's going to be slowing down anyway, so he's going to have less time to run at full speed with the front bumper damage. I mean, that's not ideal to have either, as Piero also slows down for a 5/10 penalty, but in about 3, 2, 1 it will repair itself. I was really... oh, there we go. Nearly got it on the dot. But the damage has been repaired. And they can get back to racing at full speed. It's starting to get a little bit overcast over the circuit. Unfortunately, Watkins Glen, one of those tracks where it cannot rain, unfortunately. So don't expect any drops of water on the screen. But we can expect the track conditions to change slightly as the clouds loom large over the American circuit that is Watkins Glen, as Bon Evil leads at the end of lap 4, starting lap number 5 with about a 2 to 3 second advantage out in front over Wolfie on the soft compound tyres. Then goes Tobster in 3rd place, ahead of Piero in 4th. He's going to be under pressure soon from Cameron Kaboom, bringing along with him X-Natter in the BMW, as Ted, with another 5/10 penalty, brings up 7th place, but is still scoring points for the European team. As things stand though, Team Asia are scoring quite a lot of healthy points, with the top 4 drivers in this race so far being in an Asian car. We're a fifth of the way through this race as we approach the 8-minute mark. Lap number 5 of what I think turned out to be a 24-25 lap race. I cannot exactly remember, doing the maths now, we are a fifth of the way through the race, and there's only going to be 20 more laps to go. Closest gap on the circuit at the minute appears to be this gap for 5th place, and Bon Evil wants me to rate the liveries. We can go for a little bit of a livery rating as we're not live. Don't worry, Spin Master, we're not live. Well, we are live, but this race isn't actually happening now. It happened on Friday, but I'm in 6th place, so yeah, it's difficult to stream and drive at the same time. Yeah, that's yeah. Don't worry, there is not a race happening right now, but there is a race happening now. Bon Evil leading on lap 6. As we're going to go through a livery rating, and we can actually, let's have a look. Are there any close battles? There is a close battle forming, but from memory, not a lot of overtaking happened. So, Ted pulls into the pits as we witness Bon Evil's Genesis, British Racing Green. We've got Wolfie's green, red and yellow Subaru. It kind of reminds me, don't know what it reminds me of, but it is a nice design. Almost, I like the yellow bit in the middle, kind of like the original. Very nice. Topster, his classic CrowdStrike livery with his red, white and blue front of the car, and then the Rich Energy rear. As he actually flows into the back of Wolfie, so we're going to have a battle on our hands in a minute. The BCMR Hyundai, pink and black, a very nice colour combination, as we do have a battle on our hands. We'll have to pause on the livery ratings for a minute for 5th place, because here goes XAG in the BMW against his fellow BMW racer. Down the back straight they go, side by side, the two BMWs. Topster gets demoted to 4th place after serving a 5/10 penalty, and one BMW gets ahead of another, up in towards 5th place. Meanwhile, Topster on the back of Piero will be looking to try and capitalise on his, make up, I should say, for his earlier mistake in picking up that time penalty. I can only assume it was a penalty. I don't think it was a mistake. But Wolfie, with a 5/10 penalty, pulls into the pit lane. Look at the deg on those soft compound tyres, only lasting him 10.5 minutes. But here goes Topster down the start-finish straight. You can see the Hyundai coming into shot, and there you can see it going out of the shot as he goes down the inside in towards turn 1. The Nissan on the Genesis, and he gets to move down up into 2nd place. But this move is not going to be done and dusted just yet, because they're wheel to wheel as they go up the hill in towards turn 2, into 3, into 4. Down the back straight they go. Topster leads Piero back up into 2nd place after his earlier time penalty. Can Piero find the speed in a straight line that he needs? He pulls up alongside the Nissan, going for a move in towards the bus stop chicane, rarely late on the brakes. Topster backs out of it in the end, and the Frenchman gets ahead of the German, now running in 2nd place. Both drivers running for the same team, one of them in contention for the Drivers' Championship, running now in 3rd place. And if these two continues to battle for position, they could have Natty and Captain Kaboom right on the back of their tail if they are not careful. Wolfie with a 3.5 penalty, 3 of those seconds coming, 3.5 second time penalty. 3 of those seconds were for cutting the pit lane entrance or exit, and in this circuit, more likely the entrance. It's quite tight on the entrance here in Watkins Glen. Really easy to go over the yellow pit lane entrance line and get awarded with a time penalty. I think 3 seconds is a bit harsh, but if he had it on strict, it would be 5 seconds. So yeah, stops people from cutting over late into the pit lane on both entrance and the exit. We'll get back to the liveries in a second, but Piero pulls into the pit off the medium tyres, 12 minutes into a 14-minute race. Maybe he's going for a 2-stop, or maybe he's going for hards to the end of the race. We'll have to see what the French driver goes on to. But quickly going back to the liveries, basic BMW, white, dark blue, blue and red. For Natty's BMW, runs almost over the curb through turn 1. Might have to pause once again on the liveries, because here we go down the back straight on the exit of turn 4 in the slipstream of the Nissan. We'll just put the liveries on hold for now. Here goes X-Strategy, purple through the first sector, tucked into the slipstream beautifully of the Nissan, going through the bus stop chicane at 110 miles per hour, a really fast speed, right, left, right, a nice set of flowing corners. This track really does flow nicely from one corner to the next, from the left-hand side of the circuit, pulling it over to the right to take a wide line through the downhill left-hander. We can carry quite a bit of speed at about 90 to 100 miles per hour. Topster under pressure, but both drivers suffering slightly from identically worn tyre wear. Topster appears to have slightly better tyre wear as Bon Evil pulls away with the lead of this race. He's on course to take another victory here on this GT7 season. He's not shy from finishing on the podium, nor is he shy from finishing on the top step of the podium from what we've seen so far. But look who's coming back into it. Cameron Kaboom. And he was running at the back of the grid with damage, but he's clawed his way back up into 4th place. And with his championship rival Topster 2 places in front of him, 3 points ahead in the championship, it is all to play for in the final few laps. But Topster's picked up front left suspension and aero damage from hitting the wall at the final corner. That's going to cost his him in the straights and also in the corners. With that front bumper damage, he might be vulnerable to the 2 BMWs behind. We ride on board in the cockpit of one of the BMWs to see how much time he is losing in the straights. That Nissan is usually a pretty quick car in a straight line, and to be honest, he is losing time, but he's not losing that much time. As X-Strategy, the Lord himself, goes purple through the first sector in the slipstream of the Nissan. The lap time's getting quicker as the fuel wears out, but the tyre wear is starting to kick in for a lot of these guys on the mediums. They can make it to about halfway and they can bolt on another set of medium tyres. You can see in the bottom left, 15 minutes have gone and we've got a 40-minute race, so if you do the math, that's 25 minutes left to go. Cameron Kaboom with a 5/10 penalty will be slowing down at the next penalty line, which will be coming up in the next 5 or so seconds. There it is, you can see the yellow gate, and he slows down to 5/10, allowing the 2 cars in front of him just to pull away slightly. Welcome Napula in the chat. It's good to see some of the old names back in the stream. Bon Evil completely sending it in this race. He's got himself a fairly large advantage as the battle brews on behind him. A little bit snappy from both BMWs on the exit of what is the penultimate corner. don't know what the corner name is. But what lap are we on? We're on lap 9. The end of lap 9, about to start lap number 10, and Topster leads the field away from 2nd place, ahead of X-Strategy and Cameron. Kaboom has picked himself up another 5/10 penalty. Bon Evil though on an absolute another level, up the little hill of turns 3 and 4 down the back straights, leading this race, and you can see the map on the top right, the advantage he holds. Natty's lost a little bit of time too. Topster in front, the tyre wear really kicking in, goes defensive to the inside before the bus stop chicane, and it's really difficult to go round the outside if on the entrance of that corner, and Cameron Kaboom couldn't quite make anything of it and has picked up another 5/10 penalty, which will cost him another 5/10s at the penalty detection zone. But Piero went on to another set of mediums from his pit stop a few laps ago, and from this mini-season the rules do state that there are no mandatory tyre or mandatory pit stop, so Piero could go to the end on those mediums, but considering he pit after 12 minutes probably indicates the fact that he's going for an aggressive 2-stop, by the sense that he does not need to fuel save, does not need to save the tyres, and just do quali lap after quali lap after quali lap, which to be fair is pretty much what Bon Evil's been doing from lap number 1, starting on pole, lost the lead going into turn 1 with the great launch from the Z4, but then after the mistake from Cameron, which put him onto the grass and into the barrier, Bon Evil then retook the lead and said thank you very much. Lap 11 of roughly 25 in this race. You can see in the top right we've got a wind speed of 2.7 meters per second, heading in a southeastern direction. And hello and welcome to everyone who is tuning in and watching. We're 18 minutes into this race, and look how bad the tyre wear is for the top runners. They're in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You can see the red bar indicating the degradation, and the white bits indicating how much of the tyre life is left. Not much, but the strategy for this race, for the one stop, to do a medium strategy, is to make it to that 20-minute mark in this 40 minutes race. 18.5 minutes into the race, you can see we're almost at the pit stop window. Probably this or next lap, I can't exactly remember, but I believe we all decided to pit next lap. Wait and see and find out, as some will say. Pierre in 5th place ahead of Wolfie and Ted in 6th and 7th, running their own races. Pierre on the aggressive 2-stop, so watch out for him later on in the race. But the gap between Tobster and Natty about 5, 7, 8 tenths of a second as they make their way up the little kink in towards the left-hander, which is where the short layout of the circuits finishes. You can see, actually we'll get it when Bonnie Evil goes round, but the short configuration of this track misses out the entirety or the majority of the middle sector after the bus stop chicane, as Tobster into the pits. Natty follows him in. So does Cameron Kaboom. So the top 4, apart from Bon Evil, into the pits to change from the medium onto another set of the medium. How much fuel they put in the car is up to them to try and get to the end of the race. You can see, looks like I put in a lot more fuel than it. Oh no, never mind, it's changed. I put in just a little bit more fuel than Tobster. Never mind, I thought that was 64 to 51, which is quite a big difference in the fuel, but all the cars roughly come out on front fairly close to one another. As Pierre retakes 2nd place, but could be making one more pit stop. I completely missed Bon Evil, so I'll get it with Pierre. The short layout of Watkins Glen. You make your way through the bus stop before going into this long right-hander. In a second you'll see a right turn after the right turn. If we keep an eye out for that bit of the circuit over there, that's where the short layout goes, and Tobster picks up a 3-second time penalty for cutting the white line on the pit lane entrance, and that one could be crucial. It will be crucial in not only this battle, but could be potentially crucial in the championship fight at the end of it. His rival Cameron Kaboom running about 2 seconds behind him on track in 5th place. Tobster pulls over to the right hand side, respectfully off the racing line. Through goes Natty, and through goes Cameron Kaboom up into 4th place for the Brits, as Bon Evil comes into the pits. And if there were punctures in this game, his front left is very close to popping. Piero would maintain 2nd place, as now there's a battle on our hands for 3rd place between, by the nickname, Marcus Armstrong, Big Ball and Toby. The 3 drivers fighting for a podium. Running wide is the BMW in the M6 at the penultimate corner. Picks up a 5/10 penalty deservedly. Can't deny it. Here goes Cameron Kaboom towards turn 1. Is he brave enough to go for a lunge late on the brakes? It would be a ridiculous shame if he went for it. Running wide once again myself in the run up towards turn 2 and 3. Riding on board, you can see there goes the BMW on the right hand side, but we've got the inside for the next part of the corner, and Cabra has just to, couldn't quite get the speed on the outside of turn 3 to make the move up into 3rd place. But with a 1 second penalty, that is going to have to slow down and serve that penalty in about 30 seconds time. Cameron Kaboom tries a different line, a tighter line to the inside of the long swooping right hand, and this will bring Tobster right back into this battle for 3rd place. All on the medium tyres, all pitted on the same lap, so it's going to be a showdown to the end. No safety cars, no red flags to determine who will finish in 3rd place. Natty's actually got a bit of a gap to Cameron Kaboom before serving the penalty, pulls over to the right hand side of the circuit. He's going to lose one. Will he lose two positions? Indeed he does, because he's just lost the position. The Topster, who could be trying to go for a move down the inside of Cameron Kaboom. This contact, and through goes X93 back up into third place after serving a penalty, and Cameron Kaboom drops back down into fourth place. Could lose another position because Topster's on the inside, can't quite feed his Nissan through up into fourth place, but maintains fifth for now. 3 cars separated by about 0.3 of a second, maybe a little bit more realistically, but it just sounded nice and better when you word it like that. Through the final corner they go for the 13th time this race, but it is Bon Evil who continues to lead, starting lap 14 for these guys. Here goes Topster for a move in towards turn 1, thought about it, backs off in the end, but is still keeping tracks with the back of that BMW Z4, going up the little hill, through the right, followed by the left, followed by another right of 2, 3 and 4. The longest straight on the circuit, a key overtaking opportunity. Cameron Kaboom leaves the door wide open for the inside, and Topster walks straight through it and makes his way up into fourth place, the championship leader ahead of his championship contender. Meanwhile, that looked like a corner cut from your corner cutting king. Is it going to be a 5/10 penalty? Doesn't look like it is. Gets away with that one. But Topster now in a BMW sandwich halfway through lap 14, and will now be hunting down the other BMW, the M6 GT3, for that final podium position. Totally agree with Bon Evil in the chat that the camera angles at this circuit are quite nice. They have done a good job with the angles. The people walking on the right hand side, what are they doing? They're just walking around in the field, not watching the race. Oh my days, unbelievable. Meanwhile, we are watching the race live, but kind of not live, but live-ish, as we've got quite the audience tuned in for this one. And what a race it has been so far. And I have actually finally got a track map up for the corners. I don't agree with that, but actually, so I'm going to get rid of it and change into a new one. There we go, that's more accurate. Not disagreeing with track maps, but when they don't count the bus stop chicane as a corner, then that's when I have an issue. Meanwhile, Bon Evil leads this race by about 4 seconds to Piero, but Piero is on a 2-stop strategy. And look who's closing in. The herd, led by the BMW M6 as the Z4 goes straight on at the bus stop chicane. That's cost him a lot of time to Topster, and it's going to cost him even more time with a 5/10 penalty to add to the list. Meanwhile, Wolfie maintaining his advantage over Ted, who comes across the start-finish line to start lap 15. But riding on board from the rear wing of the M6 GT3, you can see the Nissan GTR closing in the background. And that Nissan, trust me, it will get bigger and bigger and take up more pixels on the screen as this race goes on. The clouds have appeared to have gone past the circuit, and we're getting more of a brighter circuit, a brighter view on this beautiful circuit. Going through the final corner for the 15th time, and we've hit the wall. X90G has hit the wall. Your Japanese champion has hit the barrier at the final corner, and that is a lot of damage. Front and bumper damage, rear left and front left suspension damage, and that will be costly, and trust me, it is. Now, apologies for what you're about to see. A little bit of a miscommunication here between myself and Topster. Nothing bad happens. You will just see it in a minute. Here goes Topster with the overspeed from the corner, from the final corner, struggling to keep the car on the right-hand side. I tried to pull over to let him go through, but here goes Topster on the inside anyway, clean as you like, Virgil van Dijk, and he gets to move down up into second place, ahead of the battered and bruised BMW, which has made a miraculous recovery, I should say. What did I say? Remarculous. I meant miraculous, not, I don't know what I said. but has made a immaculate recovery. I'm getting confused in my own words. What are words? Words are just letters. What are letters? Letters are just lines. Some are straight, some are curling. Anyway, where are we? Second place, Topster, getting ahead of X90G after hitting the final corner. After hitting the wall at the final corner. But it's kind of hard to drive in a straight line when you have only your right tyres, I found out. It's kind of off-putting. But never mind, we move on in the with the race. We're almost, no, we're not at the halfway stage, we're over the halfway stage. We're at almost at the 75% stage, I should say, the 3/4 mark. 30 minutes out of 40. We are approaching that landmark. Topster waves to his mechanics on the pit wall, goes defensive in towards turn 1 before pulling back over to the racing line, going back in towards turn 1. X90G in third place has gone wide, and that will probably be a 5/10 penalty. 3, 2, 1, there you go. That's what I kind of like about this circuit. If you go over the curb, that didn't work. That didn't work either. It is a 5/10 penalty. I can't click my... There we go, that's what I meant to do. Click my fingers for some reason. Yeah, over the curb, it's a penalty, simple as. Most of the time, 5/10. Sometimes you might get under. Meanwhile, Piero in for the 2-stop onto another set of the medium compound tyres. We'll have a lot fresher tyres down the rows around him. It's going blue through the first sector, improving on his personal best. Marcus Armstrong, the best Formula 2 driver on the grid, and also the best GT7's driver in Gavra Racing, who set the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 43.8. That just goes to show my true speed and talent, and that I was robbed of a deserved race win. No, of course I am joking, but Bon Evil has been absolutely on fire this race. Led pretty much every single, well, has led every single lap, just hasn't led every single corner, going from turn 1 to 5. Other than that, it's been a pretty great, good race from him. Nearly a clean sweep if we can get the fastest lap of the race, but we'll see if anyone can beat the 43.8 by the end. There's still 10 minutes left of racing action, and the battle for second place is not done just yet. Actually, we haven't done an onboard in a while. Haven't done an onboard. Shall we let's do an onboard lap, a hot lap with Bon Evil on the next lap. When he starts his lap, we'll do an onboard lap, because I've seen as they've removed qualifying, I kind of have to use the practice sessions to set the grid for the race. But it means I can't really do onboards, because I'm spending every 5 minutes, having to remind drivers that there's 5 minutes left and that, on your last laps to finish up. It's not the driver's side or anything, not my advice, just the game hasn't had the qualifying. There's nothing we can really do about that. So yeah, let's do a hot lap. We've got a car stranded in the middle of the circuit, and it is a BMW Z4. It's not Cameron Caboom, but it is Ted MC, and he does have engine damage, front bumper and front right suspension damage, and well, his race going from bad to worse, really, with the race leader approaching him with a 5. Why'd you get a 5/10 penalty? Oh, now he's going to have to slow down on the hot lap. Well, we're going to do a hot lap anyway, seeing as the gap for second place has opened up, and we're going to do it inside the cockpit of the Genesis. That's through the final corner we go, getting as close to the outside barrier as possible, starting lap number 19, going in towards turn 1, braking at roughly the 100-metre board, I think, hitting the apex beautifully on the inside before using all the curve available on the outside of the circuit. Up the little hill, turn 2, 3 and 4, keeping it nice and tight to the inside curve to complete as little track distance as possible, keeping the wheel nice and straight to maximise the straight line speed, shifting up in towards 6th gear and reaching about 164 miles per hour before braking. A nice down on the brakes, almost smashing into the inside barrier. Through the bus stop, nice and quick, smooth, clean, aggressive. Through the long swooping right hander we go, bringing it out wide to the left hand side of the circuit, swinging it back over to the right before double downshifting into downhill left-hander. Working his way on the throttle up the gears in towards 4 and 5 before braking for the uphill right-hander, that is turn 11. And up the hill we go, easing his way on the throttle before climbing up the gears, gaining speed before slowing down to sub 5/10 penalty, building back up the speed in towards 4th gear, slowly working his way up to 5th before braking into the downhill right-hander of turn 12. Quite a tricky braking zone if you miss it by even 10 metres. Up the hill we go, another little tricky blind apex. Can't really see where the exit is until you're there, as a short shift up to 3rd place, using the curb available on the outside, not going onto the grass for letting off slightly for the penultimate corner, going all the way onto the curb for the penultimate corner in towards the final corner, using going a little bit wide off the apex but swooping it out wide to the barrier, not making contact, just about missing the outside wall, and up to the line. It's a 45.6 and a really disappointing slow lap from your race leader. Of course, that is a joke, considering the tyres are quite old and quite worn at this phase of the race. It doesn't look like that 43.8 is going to be beaten unless one of the drivers behind on fresh soft tyres. Looks like we could have a race on our hands between Wolfie and Ted for 6th place. Piero on the 2-stop strategy hasn't gained as much time as I don't think he was thinking he would on Cameron Kaboom. I just need to readjust my headset because it's falling off my head. A headset's not on your head. It's not really a headset, it's more of a head. It's more of a set, sorry. And that kind of defeats the purpose. There we go. But if you are watching this and you are a driver or wanting to drive for us at Gavra Racing on GT7, then earlier today, if you're watching this live, if you're not watching this live, then earlier on the 7th of September I sent a message into the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you can find it either on our website or through our socials. I dropped a message asking for an interest form for GT7. If you're interested, fill out the form, get yourself signed up for the main GT7 leagues starting soon. Just drop your PlayStation Discord ID and we'll get you involved. Meanwhile, we've got a battle on our hands for 6th place between Wolfie and Ted. BMW versus Subaru. I didn't mean to change camera there. But in theory, I think the Subaru is a quicker car, but we've seen what Ted can do behind the wheel of a car. It's actually going for a personal best on those fresh sets of soft compound tyres. The gap for 2nd place between Tobster and X-Natty G is stabilising at about 1.2 seconds roughly. Not quite in the slipstream range being about 7-8 tenths for you to start feeling the effects of it. Obviously the closer you are, the more powerful slipstream will be, but the Subaru of Wolfie is staying ahead of the BMW of Ted, as Ted all runs wide onto the grass through turn 11, and didn't make contact with the barrier, so hasn't got any damage. Did actually get a 5/10 penalty for that, which is kind of harsh, I think, considering it looked like he lost himself a little bit of time. Just heading back up to the battle for 2nd place. Tobster starting to pull out an advantage with only 3.5 minutes left to go in this race. How it's absolutely gone by so quickly. We're already on lap number 19, 21 if you're Bon Evil. Looks like Wolfie's beginning to pull out an advantage over Ted, so it doesn't look like we're going to have a battle for 6th place, sorry, as we head back up to the battle for 2nd place. Tobster pulling away from X-Natty G after picking up a 5/10 penalty in the BMW. Cameron Kaboom hasn't really been able to come back in the fight after his earlier mistakes and a few time penalties here and there. He's about 10 seconds, I'd say, behind the BMW M6, which I think is actually a really nice looking car, the BMW M6, and one that I've recently started driving a lot more than from launch. But it's nice to see that we have a nice variety of different cars on the grid. But not long left to go in this race. It's starting to get a little bit darker over the track, not really cloudy. It's quite cloudy, but not horrific. Got no road track body. Ooh, camera kaboom. He's low on fuel, but there's only 2 minutes to go, so he might finish this race with enough left in the tank. So let's brush over that corner cut. That wasn't me. Let's ignore that. But yeah, picking up a 1 second penalty. That's not going to do Natty any favours in finishing in second place, but it's still in a podium position, running in P3 behind Tobster and Bon Evil. And I think the strat for everyone now is just to bring the car home with only 1 minute 30 seconds left on the clock, and with the gaps as big as they are, no mistakes are crucial to finishing in the position that they currently stand in. No one's really in the position to push and go for it. I'd probably say Natty's in the best, well, sorry, no, Piero, I'd say, is in the best position to go for it. With only a minute left, might as well try and put Cameron under pressure on those much fresher medium tyres, trying to do the two-stop strategy. Didn't quite work out for him. Be interesting to know where that Hyundai could have been had it have been on the same strategy as the cars around him. But Bon Evil on the final lap of the race. As Wolfie slows down to 7.5, 10th penalty. What a way to end the season, though. I mean, we've had 5 good races. I have enjoyed every single one of them. To the fact that when I've looked at the clock and it was over 30 minutes. The first time I've looked at the clock since, we were 7 minutes in and I was just talking about the time. That's when you know it's a good race, when you don't realise the laps have gone by. But I'm sure someone would have realised the laps have gone by so quickly, because it's practically been a practice session for them in the Hyundai Genesis. Well, I mean, they started on pole position, they didn't quite leave the whole of the first lap, but statistically speaking, they have led every lap of this race, including the pit stop phase, staying out that extra lap. Ted going into the shadow realm at the exit of turn 12. That's not going to deny anyone, because for Bon Evil, he's going to come around the final few corners and win here in Watkins Glen. But more importantly, he's going to win, or take home, the team's championship, the Continental Cup as per se, for Team Asia. Bon Evil up to the line from pole position, wins here in Watkins Glen, takes home another win in GT7. Tobster rounds the final corner. Not only is he going to finish in second place, not only is he going to get a podium, not only is he going to win the Continental Cup for Asia, but he has won your Drivers' Championship for the European versus Asia Mini Season 3, and it's another podium for ex-Natty G in the BMW, trying to salvage some points for Team Europe, scoring some more points for Team Europe, but unfortunately not enough points. Is Cameron Kaboom, whose championship lead slips away at the final hurdle after the earlier mistake on lap 1 that put him in the barrier with rear, bumper and suspension damage. And that is Piero, finishing in 5th place for Hyundai Pause. Oh, we got there in just, look at that, 3 seconds left on the clock, because I don't want to go into the main menu, because that's where copyrighted music is playing. That's only for the replay. But it is this man and this car. Can I enter photo mode? Yes. There we go. It is this car that's won here in Watkins Glen. Led every lap from pole position. Easy as you like. Bon Evil taking home his first win of this mini season, but not his first win in GT7. Getting more familiar with the top step of the podium. But it is this man in the CrowdStrike Nissan that wins the Drivers' Championship in this Europe versus Asian mini-season, the third mini-season. Before starting the main leagues, the interest form is out on Discord. If you're interested, make sure to fill it out so we can get an idea on how many numbers there are and what your personal preferences are for the league. Congrats to Topster for winning the Drivers' Championship, and congratulations to Bon Evil, Simon at Apex, R.A. Philo, Piero, TCR Legion, and Man Jam. The drivers are part of Team Asia, those of who started the season, some of which unfortunately couldn't make it for Watkins Glen. There you have it. Topster wins the championship by 9 points over Camera Kaboom in the end, and it is an outstanding victory for Team Asia, winning by nearly, well, they actually won by 90 points. Well, that says it all. Absolutely dominant from the Asian manufacturers. But stay tuned for more GT7 content. There might be a little bit of a break before the next race. Maybe we'll get an event or two out in the meantime before we build up to the run-up to Christmas for the start of the GT7 main championship. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch if you have Prime. Subscribe, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Join our Discord to chat to the drivers. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, blah, 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 this and that. I've been X-G. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!